Interview with the Vampire, page 24. Then you stopped Lestat just in time, right? Asked the boy. Yes, Lestat could kill very fast. But I know that I saved only Babette's physical life, not her mental one. In New Orleans, we got a room at a new Spanish hotel, and there I understood that I had to leave Lestat or die. It would be nice to die, I thought. Yes, die. I wanted to die before. Now I wished to die. I saw it so clearly then, and I think that he also felt it. On our first night at the hotel, Lestat said to me, "It's almost dawn. Go kill." He opened the window and stepped out. Soon I heard his footsteps on the rooftop beside the hotel. He was going for the coffins, or at least one, which we left in the carriage, parked on a small street. I was thirsty, and I followed him. I needed to feed. I've already told you that I didn't kill people then. I walked on the rooftops looking for rats. But why? Was it a moral decision for you? Yes, it was moral. Because all the decisions are moral, really. I don't understand, said the boy. I believe that I killed animals for moral reasons only. You see, although Lestat had never said anything about the devil or hell to me, I believed that I was damned when I went to him. Do you understand? The boy said nothing at first. Then he whispered, "Were you?" The vampire only sat there smiling a little. The boy was staring at him now as if seeing him for the first time. "Perhaps," said the vampire, crossing his legs. "Perhaps I should continue my story." "Yes, please," said the boy. I went into the street after Lestat and walked and walked. The streets were dirty then, not like the city of today. I was still thinking, am I damned? Am I from the devil? I was asking myself these questions again and again. What have I become, becoming a vampire? Where should I go? For a while I forgot my thirst, but my thirst only grew, and finally I couldn't stand it any longer. Then I heard the sound of a child crying. The vampire paused, as if preparing himself for something very important, and then he went on. She was inside a house. I listened to her cry. She was so lonely. She had been crying for so long now that soon she would be tired and stop. I went inside. She sat in the dark room full of packages beside a dead woman, a woman who had been dead for some days. No one else was there except the child. When she saw me, she began to tell me that I must do something to help her mother. She was only about 5 years old, very thin, and her face was dirty. She asked me to help. They had to take a sheep, she said, before the plague came. Their father was waiting. She began to shake her mother now and to cry desperately. You must understand that by then I really needed to feed. I could not live for another day without it. I could catch rats in the street, but I was still thinking, am I damned? If so, why do I feel such pity for her? Why do I wish to hold her now, to hug her, to comfort her? Why? If I am damned, I must want to kill her. I must want to make my food. I must hate her. And when I thought of this, I saw Babette's face, and I saw Lestat in my mind, and hated him, and I felt damned. So I bent down, bit into her small neck, and whispered, "It's only for a moment, and then there'll be no pain." I heard her heart, the heart of the child, beating, not wanting to die, crying, I will not die, I will not die, I cannot die, I cannot die. When it was done, I put the child down. She lay there like a doll, but when I turned to go away, I saw Lestat in the window. He was laughing at me. Louis, Louis, he said. Look at you, Louis. Then he got into the room, grabbed the mother's dead body from the bed and started singing and dancing with her. Good God, whispered the boy. Yeah, I thought so too, said the vampire. Finally he threw her body down. I jumped out of the window and ran down the street, and he was running after me. Are you afraid of me, Louis? He shouted. Are you afraid? The child's alive, Louis. You left her alive. Shall I go back and make her a vampire? We could use her, Louis, and think of all the pretty dresses we could buy for her, Louis. Wait, I'll go back for her if you say. And so he ran after me all the way back to the hotel across the rooftops. I locked myself in the room. I was out of my mind. How I hated Lestat. I walked around and round the room looking for some way to kill him. He broke the glass and got in. We fought like we had never fought before, and I lost. I was lying on the floor then, and he was standing over me. You're a fool, Louis, he said. His voice was calm, so calm. The sun's rising, he said, looking at the window. I'd never seen him like this. Get in your coffin, he said to me without anger. But tomorrow night, we'll talk. Did he want your money or your houses? Asked the boy. Or was he afraid to be alone if you left him? It was possible. I even thought that Lestat wanted to kill me. He was stronger than me, and he knew all the things, as I've said. But how could he kill you? Not with the sunlight, of course. This is true, but he could lock or nail my coffin and then burn it. I sometimes saw it in my dreams. So you dream, said the boy. Often, said the vampire. I wish sometimes that I didn't, because most of my dreams are nightmares. But when I woke up that evening, I saw that there were 2 women in our parlor. Lestat was sitting on the couch with one of them and kissing her. She was very drunk and very beautiful. The other woman was sitting at the table and she was bored. All this scared me. I didn't know what Lestat was planning. When he saw me in the bedroom door, he walked slowly to the table and blew out the candles. It's too dark in here, said the first woman. Lestat first kissed and then bit the woman sitting at the table. He did it so carefully that the other woman didn't even notice anything. Your friend had too much wine, he said, soon returning to the first woman. I can warm your cold skin better than she can, she said and kissed Lestat, but he'd planned other things. Didn't the blood warm him? Asked the boy. Oh yeah, said the vampire. After killing a vampire is as warm as you are now. As I was saying, Lestat had planned other things, so soon the second woman was dead too. But what were you thinking when you watched? Asked the boy. Did you want to stop him? No, said the vampire. I could not. I knew that he killed humans every night. Animals gave him nothing. I was angry, of course, that Lestat made this show for me. Come in, Louis, he finally said. I looked at the woman on the couch. I was not sure if she was dead. Lestat then made a cut in her neck and filled 2 wine glasses with blood. "I'm leaving you," I said to him. "I want to tell you that now." He looked at me. "I thought you would," he answered, "and I thought that you would tell me what a monster I am." He was wrong, so I tried to explain my decision to him. "I don't judge you. I'm not interested in you. I'm interested in my nature now, and I think that I can't trust you to tell me the truth about it. You use knowledge for personal power," I told him. He was listening to me. "Why did you become a vampire?" I asked him. "And why such a cruel vampire?" Lestat still listened to me without speaking. His eyes were large and thoughtful. "What do you think a vampire is?" he asked me then. "I don't know. You know. What is it?" I said. And he answered nothing to this. Then I said, "I know that after leaving you, I'll try to find out. I'll travel the world, if I have to find other vampires. I know that they must exist, and I'm sure that I'll find vampires who understand knowledge as I do and use their nature to learn secrets. I'll learn from them when I find them." The vampire shook his head and laughed a little. Then he continued his story. "You're in love with your mortal nature, Louis," Lestat said to me. "And in your romance with mortal life, you're dead to your vampire nature." I disagreed. "All that you say is true," he continued, drinking blood from his glass. "You are an intellectual, but I'm not stupid either. And you must listen to me because you're in danger. You do not know your vampire nature. Babette, then this little girl with her dead mother, you cannot as a man go back asking for love and care. You cannot go back to the world of human warmth." I knew that, of course. But what is our nature? If I can feed on the blood of animals, why should I go through the world bringing death to people? Lestat finished the glass now. "Will it bring you happiness?" he asked me. "Let's imagine that you meet someone understanding like Babette. What then? A few short years to watch her grow older and then die before your eyes? Does this give you happiness? This is madness, Louis. The vampire nature is killing. You will drink blood and you will be filled with life. The moon will be your sun, and then you will see death in all its beauty. Don't you understand that, Louis? You can be like the hand of God." "So the vampires are killers?" asked the boy. "Well, that is how he saw it. He'd never spoken like this to me before. Of course I protested, but he continued. You want to find other vampires? Vampires are killers. They don't want you or your philosophy. They'll see you before you see them, and they'll kill you. They'll kill you even if you're like me, because they're loners and don't need friends. They have their own territory, and if you find some of them together, it will be for safety only, and one will be the slave of the other, like you are of me." I realized then that he was right, and all this time I had been his slave. "But why do you do cruel things, Lestat?" I asked him. "I like it," he said. "I enjoy it." He looked at me. "I don't say that you have to enjoy it. Kill people fast if you wish, but do it. Learn that you're a killer. I saw you last night with that child. You're a vampire, the same as I am." He told me that peace would come to me if I killed and drank blood every night of my life. There is nothing else, but this is everything. Come with me out into the streets. You haven't drunk enough. Let me show you what you are. Come, he said. I told him that I could not do it. But Louis, he said, you haven't tried. Do what it is your nature to do. The vampire stopped again. He was studying the boy. Excited, the boy said nothing. It was true what he'd said. I hadn't drunk enough, so we went out of the hotel into the streets. People were coming and going. There were parties in the hotels. I was so depressed then. Lestat was right, so right. I knew peace only when I killed, only for that minute. But I also knew that the killing of a human being simply brought me closer to humans, to their real lives. I was no vampire. In my pain, I asked myself like a child, could I return? Could I be human again? I was walking in the street, looking at the stars and thinking, yes, it's true. I knew that what he was saying was true, but I couldn't bear it. Lestat led me through the streets with a smile on his lips, as on the night when he'd come into my mortal life and told me that we would be vampires. Evil is good, he whispered now. We are immortal. God kills. And so shall we. He takes the richest and the poorest, and so shall we. We are his dark angels. Your pain will end. We came to some street and entered a narrow door. The room was dark, and there were some people inside. What is it? Where are we? I asked Lestat. She is there, he said. Your wounded one, your daughter. I still didn't understand. What are you talking about? Lestat stopped to look at me. You saved her, he whispered. I knew it. You left the window open and people passing in the street would found her and brought her here. Could it be that child, that little girl with her dead mother? Asked the boy. Yes, you're right. We came to a room with many wooden beds, each with a child under a thin white blanket. A candle was burning at one end of the room. A nurse was sitting at a small desk. We walked between the rows of beds. Poor children, orphans, Lestat said. Children of plague and fever. He stopped. I saw the little girl lying in the bed. And then a man came, a doctor. He was whispering with Lestat. Someone in another room was crying. The nurse got up and went away. Lestat took money from his pocket and gave it to the doctor. The doctor was saying how glad he was that we'd come for her. He thought that Lestat was the girl's father. Soon Lestat was running through the streets with her, and I ran after him. Lestat, what are you doing? Where are you taking her? I cried, but I already knew the answer. He was going to the hotel and wanted to take her into our room. The bodies of the two women were still there. Lestat went right into the bedroom and put the child down on the bed. Come here, Louis. You haven't fed enough. I know you haven't, he said to me. I didn't want to kill her. I hadn't wanted to kill her last night. But Lestat was saying to me now, you want her, Louis, don't you see? You wanted her last night, but he showed weakness, and that's why she's not dead. I could feel that it was true, what he said. I could feel that. I tried to tell myself that it was best for her to die, but these thoughts were wrong. I wanted her, and so I took her. The vampire paused, frowning. I won't tell you again what it was like. I couldn't stop, so finally Lestat pulled me from her. I sat shocked, looking at her too weak to move. Then Lestat held her, talking to her, saying her name. Claudia, Claudia, listen to me, Claudia. He carried her out of the bedroom, but I still could hear his voice. You're ill, but you must do what I tell you to get well. And then I understood what he was doing. He cut his wrist and gave it to her, and she was drinking. That's it, dear, he was saying to her. You must drink it to get well. After a while I got up and walked into the parlor. Damn you, Lestat, I shouted. What have you done, you bastard? The girl was sitting on the couch. I stared at her. She was filled with life now, all beautiful, white and shining like an angel. She was looking at Lestat. Where is Mamma? Asked the child. Now Lestat came towards me with her. She's our daughter, he said to me. This is Louis, and I'm Lestat. He then said to her, You're going to live with us now. Louis was going to leave us. He was going to go away. But now he's not, because he wants to stay and take care of you and make you happy. She looked at me. She was the most beautiful child I had ever seen. But she was not a child anymore. She was a vampire child. Her eyes were a woman's eyes. I could see it already. Then she looked around and said that it was a pretty room, very pretty, but she wanted her mama. Your mama left you with us. She wants you to be happy, Lestat said. She knows that we can make you very happy. Now you are our daughter. Then I am hungry. I want some more, the girl said, turning to Lestat. No, not me, he said to her, and not tonight. Do you understand? But tomorrow night I'll show you what to do. Just remember, you must never drink after the heart stops, or you'll be sick again, sick to death. Do you understand? Then Lestat looked at me and smiled. The vampire stopped. At first the boy said nothing. A child vampire, he whispered finally. The vampire was looking at the tape recorder. Then the boy saw that the tape was almost out. Quickly he opened his briefcase, took out a new cassette and put it into place. He looked at the vampire and pressed the record button. The vampire's face looked tired, but he asked calmly, Are we ready to go on? The boy nodded. Did Lestat do this to the little girl just to keep you with him? He asked. That is difficult to say. Keeping me with him was surely one of the reasons. Or maybe it was revenge. Revenge? You speak of him as if he were dead. Is he dead? Asked the boy. I don't know, said the vampire. Maybe. But I'll come to that. We were talking about Claudia, weren't we? I want to go on. Oh, please go on. The boy looked at his watch. The vampire smiled at the boy. The boy's face changed. Are you still afraid of me? Asked the vampire. The boy said nothing. Don't be, said the vampire. Shall we go on? Please, said the boy. Well, the vampire began, our life changed with Mademoiselle Claudia, as you can imagine. At first, I thought only about protecting her from Lestat. I took her into my coffin every morning and would not let her go with him if possible. This was what Lestat wanted, to keep me there. I was afraid of running away alone, but I couldn't even think about running away with Claudia. She was a child. She needed care. And she wasn't like Lestat or me at all. She was a little child, but also a cruel killer. Lestat told her that we killed to live and that we could never die. Quiet and beautiful she played with her dolls. Quiet and beautiful she killed. I too now fed on strangers. Plague was in the city, and it was easy to find victims. We now lived in one of my new townhouses in a flat above a tailor's shop. It was much safer than Point de Lac. Lestat bought many expensive things for himself and Claudia, but I did not need the luxury. The walls in Claudia's room were painted with a magical forest and golden birds. Dressmakers came to our flat to dress Claudia in the best of children's fashion. You can say that Lestat played with her as if she were a doll with beautiful golden hair. In the evenings, the three of us often went to the new opera house or the Theatre d'Orléans, and all this time I was teaching Claudia. I gave her books and taught her poetry. Soon she played her own songs on the piano. Years passed, and then strange things began to happen. She was still a quiet child, but I sometimes found her reading Aristotle or a new novel. Claudia was a mystery. I couldn't tell what she knew or did not know. And I sometimes watched how she killed. She would sit alone in the street, waiting for a kind gentleman or woman to find her. Like a child, she would ask for help, and as they carried her in their arms, she would bite them. But when that was done, she was my friend and my pupil again, father and daughter. Lestat did not envy, but he only smiled, waiting for her to come back to him. Then he took her into the street for the hunt, the kill. Years and years and years passed, and only years later I understood the fact about Claudia, about her body.